It's not every day we hear stories like this, but today's guest on the Untold flips the script. Born with a silver spoon in her mouth, she speaks about her perspectives, about what she understands life to be for someone who is an abnormal child. Also, she gives us a perspective into her naivety and some of her biggest mistakes and how they've led her to where she is in life today. Welcome to this week's edition of The Untold here on Ghana Web TV with me, Eche Atisu, as we speak to a life coach, Queen Esther Jackson, on this edition. Once again, welcome. Let's take you right into the story now. Queen says it as it is. She was born with a silver spoon in her mouth, but her story will not follow most of the narratives for such persons, and she explains why.
I don't have the story of I was born from here and I raised the air. No. Mine is different. I was actually born with a silver spoon in my mouth. Seriously, I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I was born to a father who was in the military, but he was way up there. And my mother was a businesswoman. So, I mean, life was good. Very, very good. Very good. I was born in the house of maidservants, nannies, and all that. So life was pretty good when I started life. But when I was growing, there was something about me that my dad always found unique. And he always used to tell me about it. And I remember every day, my dad is late, actually my mom is also late, but every day he used to tell me that, Esther, you are a born bright person, you are unique, you are different. Because when I started school, it was like I was always the odd one out. And the odd one out did not mean that I was down there. The odd one out meant that I was too smart for my age. One, I was too smart for my age, and two, I was huge. I was a big bone person. So at the age of 4, I was in class 1, but still I looked taller and huge than the rest. So I always had an intimidating figure, okay? And it made people wanna, use my intimidating figure against me by trying to bully me in a way. All right? So, but then if you get so angry and you attack back, you are the bad person. And if you relax too, they take advantage of you. So I was in a confused state from my childhood. What do I do when someone tries to, push me to the wall to fight back? Do I really fight back by pushing the person? Because as soon as I start fighting back, I become the giant. And when I don't fight back, they take control and I'm on the floor.
Like most girls, Daddy's constant words kept her together, especially when, as a young girl, all she wanted was to be normal.
But my dad used to tell me that, don't worry, that is how you are. You are smart, you're intelligent, you're different. Accept it the way you are. But as I was growing, being the odd one out is not an easy thing. And I know a lot of people face that thing a lot. Because you're being too smart, you are in class. Things that other people, because I remember when I was in class 4, I used to go to class 6 to go and learn. And I was doing homework for people in class 6, but I was in class 4. I was just too smart for my liking. And it made me have names like Too Known, or that kind of thing and all that. So it made you feel like people don't really like you. And that is when you start sliding back in life, when you start thinking like that. So, well, when I was growing, it was good, everything was nice. But as I said, my intelligence was always the problem. So having friends became an issue. And I really also wanted to be normal, because I was thinking that the way I wasn't normal. So I wanted to be normal. So in order to be normal, I go to the people, others, and I ask them, how can I be like you? And then they tend to take me down a road where I shouldn't go. So I even started some huge negative vices. You understand? I smoked my first cigarette at a very tender age because I wanted to be normal. I wanted to be normal. I want to be like everybody else. I don't want to be the intellect that I am. So I grew up, went to school, went to a lot of schools because we're moving from here to there. Vacations, I was going out of the country. I was learning other stuff because I remember instead of going to JHS, my dad stopped me from going to JHS and made me write GCE O level, and then I did A level. So my mates, who were like people I'm supposed to call mates, I became older than them because I was writing GCE O level with people who were much older than me, and they are the JHS and the A. So we were the first batch, but I wasn't allowed to. My dad just squished me from there, and I don't know, but there was this pride in my dad about me being so smart, and it created a problem for me even at home among my siblings. Okay, I became too smart. I became too, in Ghana they call it too known, right? I became too known and all that. So it wasn't fun. I mean, being a child and being that kind of a person. I managed to struggle my way through. And then in secondary school, I remember not wanting to go to school anymore because of the way I was. Because I wasn't fitting in. Seriously, I wasn't. So I took a lot of vices, but my dad did very well. What he used to do was that during vacation, he will let me go out of the country to go and learn a trade, be it cosmetology or anything. I can just let me go and learn how to make pizza, anything for me to, keep up with myself.
Getting to the university, she says, was when everything started going sideways for her.
So by and by, after school, I got to the university. My dad died in, I think, in A level. So after he died, I got to the university, and that was when the whole thing started. My experience in life started from the university. Because when I went to the university, I knew everything. But to me, I knew nothing, because there were other things that other people were doing that I wasn't really doing, like having a boyfriend, going out with somebody to go buy pizza or something. I never had the chance to do it, so I was always like, I'm not normal. So I can sit for a whole day and listen to girls tell their experiences about going out with married men, this, that, which I wasn't having. So in a bid to be like them, it got to a point in time in my third year, all I was thinking about was to get married. And it corrupted my every being. I want to get married. I want to have a man in my life. I want to have a honeymoon in Bali. I want to do this. I want to do that.
A desperate young lady as she was, she jumped into marriage in the most uncertain ways, realizing too late that she had just signed up for a bitter mess.
In my final year after school, I went out for a party with my sister. That was 19 years ago, and I saw a guy in a Navy band playing the saxophone. Immediately I saw him, I was like, yeah, that's my husband, this guy, Charlie. I'm going to do anything possible, because I wasn't thinking about working. I wasn't thinking about the future, because it's like the future, the job, everything, I have it all drawn out. Because hey, I'm smart. Who wouldn't employ me? I can do everything, but I need that thing. So I was all engrossed in trying to, So, well, got the guy, did not actually study him. I did not do anything, his background, nothing. All I wanted was to have a guy in my life. So I've got him, that was it. And lo and behold, the inevitable happened. I got pregnant. And the time when I got pregnant, he was leaving for operation. So he left to Lebanon. So when he left, I think 4 months later, I realized I was pregnant. I was so green. So when I realized I was pregnant, he called me one time. At that time, there were no cell phones in abundance like this whereby you can call. So he calls. So he called and I told him I was pregnant. He was like, oh, okay, no problem. You're pregnant. That's okay. When I come back, we'll see what we can do. As soon as he told me when he comes back, we'll see what we can do. The next week, I went to his family house. I was so, I want to do it. I want to get married. I want to do it. So I went to his family house. I went to his mom. They were not really accepting me because looking at me, they saw me as a silver spoon girl, a rich girl, coming to a small village. I went to that village with my pregnancy, went to the village, was trying as much as I can for them to accept me, any means necessary. So I went there. I was actually not feeling it when I got there. There were so many signs on the wall, but I wasn't paying attention to all those things. So I went there, and I went there to announce myself to them that, oh, I am the girlfriend to your son, as your son is gone and I'm pregnant. So I came to say hi. And the woman was like, oh, okay. As I met the sister too, and they were like, so I spoke everything and then I left them. So they called their son confirmed, and I came back. See, all along this time, I did not even know where he lived, what he does aside from his job as a naval personnel, how his behavior was, what he eats, how he eats, what he drinks, how he drinks. The only thing I knew was what he tells me at that short length of time. So when he came back from Lebanon, I had given birth a month. My baby was 1 month old when he came back. He came back, took me to his apartment where he lived in the barracks and all that. And I realized there were a lot of odd things about him. He was not friendly enough. I didn't know him very well and all that, It wasn't just sinking. But at that point in time, I was thinking that where I've gotten to, I've gone too far. So there is no going back. No matter what happens, I need to do this. And, consequently, that was the first marriage in my family. So my mother just grabbed it like this, boom. And it was a whole occasion. Immediately I had to set the dates, do this, do that. Family members are coming. Everywhere is busy. Pastors are busy. Mbeko Mami is busy. We have to go for some by force counseling and all that. Everywhere is busy. Yeah, but worry. But then at the end of the day, I realized that it was me doing all the work and the man was doing nothing. Because whatever I say, he's like, okay, because it's not his money, it's not his brain, it's not his strength. All that he knows is that we're getting married. So we just did it. We set the date, we're ready to get married. Wedding gown is ready. It was a Friday. Saturday we're doing the engagement. We're doing the engagement and the wedding on the Saturday. Sunday we'll go to church. Wedding cake was ready to be jumped in. I was so ready to go to the salon to finish up with my hair. So in the salon, I remembered I forgot my bag in his house. So I went to the house to go and pick it up. So when I got to the house, I had a call on my phone. So I picked it up in my excitement. Oh yeah, hello, Mrs. To be, I'm too busy. Hello, who is this? He said, oh, my name is, I've forgotten the lady's name. My name is so and so, and I'm a sister to. No, as soon as he said my name is so and so, I was like, oh, hi. Are you my husband's sister? Are you coming for the wedding? And the girl was like, wait, what wedding? I said, tomorrow. So why are you calling me? And he said, I'll call you back. I said, okay, fine. Got my stuff, got into my car, went to the salon. I was in the salon fixing my hair when the call came again. I picked up the phone. He said, I am not his sister. I am his girlfriend. We've been together since he left for Lebanon, and he came back, and I got your number from his phone last night when I was sleeping next to him, because I realized you were trying to call him, and the call was coming and he was trying to hide the phone. So when he left the room, I took the phone. So what did you just say? I said, but we have a child and we are getting married tomorrow. And the lady was like, no, you don't have a child, because he doesn't have a child. I said, you want to see pictures? Hello? We do have a child. We're getting married tomorrow. And he said, no, that's not the truth, because we are also planning. We are planning a lot of stuff. And are you Esther? I said, yes. But he said, no. What he told me was that you are a certain woman he is trying to lure to get a visa to travel. Okay. All right. The shock was just unbearable. But at that moment, I had some rage in me. I had some serious rage. So I just told the lady to stop doing the hair, because we are finished fixing the weave on. It was left with the, we call it tonguing, curling. So I said, okay, you can do the curling tomorrow, but I need to go do something at home.
What society thought of her at that time meant so much. It overshadowed her conscience to the point where she concludes her wedding day was the worst day of her life.
I just started my car. I got to the parking lot, I parked. I was walking home, and in my walking, I was telling myself that I'm just going to tell my mom that the wedding is off. I was walking boldly in an angry manner. But when I got to the front of the house, seeing people cooking, my family members had come. Chicken, clucking, goats bleating. This one is cooking in Katinkwine. And as soon as I got there, you know, Fantis, are you for? Oh, are you for? Oh, as soon as I turned around, I saw my wedding cake being ushered into the room. They are sending my wedding cake into the room for tomorrow. The lady who was coming to do my last wedding gown fitting was there, and all that. I was just standing there in the middle of the yard. And at that moment, I just buried all my feelings, and I took the feelings of what society and family will say if I should cancel the wedding. And that was my worst mistake in life. That was my worst mistake. I started thinking, what is my mom going to say? What is society going to say? People are going to say, I have a child without a husband. People are going to chastise me for not getting married. People are going to say I cancelled my own wedding. I'm going to be like an outcast. No, I'll go ahead with this wedding. So I just went into the house, and then I called him. And then he asked me where I was. I told him I was at home, and I said I wanted to see him. He said he was at home. And instead of me letting him come to me, I still went to him. So when I went to him, I asked him, who is this girl? He said, what? I said, well, this girl called me and told me that you said the only means you need ways and means to travel, and you need a visa. That is why you are with me. So tell me, what is going on? He said, that is not true. We are getting married tomorrow. Or you don't want to get married. You want to cancel it, I cancel it there. My dear, I couldn't say no. In fact, my wedding day was the saddest day in my life, because I wasn't there, but I was just doing something just for the day to just go. His family also came, and they really made me see that I wasn't their class, because they are poor people. So even at the reception, they refused to eat the food given them. The food was so rich, and they just sat there for some time. After some time, they just got up and started looking for their son to give them lorry fare to go back to their village. The only thing that the man bought for himself was his jacket. He didn't know how the wedding rings were made. He didn't know how the food was made. He didn't know anything. And trust you me, I did all those things with my own personal money. Because as soon as I got pregnant, even though I was in university, in my final year, I was still working. I got a cosmetic shop. I'm a hardcore lady. I like to make money. For me, my core value is to make money, because I always tell myself it is glorifying to sit in a Range Rover and cry than to walk and sob. So I love money. Me pesika. If money could be eaten with fork and knife, that is what I will eat. So I don't hesitate in doing anything to make money. And by the time the wedding was over, my capital was gone. My capital was just gone. My business was down. But I was wearing big rings with a zirconia red stone on it. Mrs. So and so.
She was abused and looked down on, but Queen explains why it wasn't his fault.
We moved to the house, and that was where the whole thing started. The relationship started in an unbalanced way. I was the one doing everything. He was doing nothing. So the relationship started unbalanced. So it couldn't balance because he hadn't gone through the process of meeting me halfway, anywhere, anytime. So nothing was balanced. So he can do anything and everything without thinking about the way I will feel or the way I will react to it. All that he knew was him and how he will get through life. The rest was a story, because I can handle everything. When I see people going through this now, I laugh, because a lot of people are going through it, I swear. So we're in an unbalanced relationship, going, coming. All that he cares about was to do what he feels he wants to do at a particular time. And before the wedding, I saw him playing the saxophone and I was like, oh, one day I will really make you a jazz artist. I really want you to be a jazz artist. I want to see my husband standing on stages playing the saxophone and all that. But there was no a single day that he even said, one day I want to see you as the biggest entrepreneur in the country or anything. No, he doesn't care, because the whole work is done by me and nothing is done by him. So I did not allow him to be the man he was supposed to be. And that was my huge mistake, because I turned the hands of nature. And when you turn the hands of nature, it comes to hit you back. So nature started really teaching me how it can hit me back. Because the worst thing that can happen to any woman on earth is to stay with a selfish and someone who doesn't even have emotions when you are concerned. Because you are a woman, at a point in time in your life, you will need someone to be there for you. That is how nature made it. So I was doing everything by myself. If he comes home and the child has made maybe a mess in the living room, he starts shouting, and when I talk, I get beaten up. Because if it was at first, I would have said, okay, he was a bad person and all that, but it wasn't his fault. This was where he came from. And you can't change somebody who came from the gutters. You can shower him. But trust me, he has smelled the whole thing into him. It is in his being. You cannot change him. So as I'm sitting here, if I tell you that I blame him for one day, for whatever happened to me being a single mother, I am a fat liar. Because I should have known my standard and where I am to pick somebody or to choose somebody to my standard. But I decided to be God, to call myself God Esther, to pick somebody from nowhere and molding for myself.
She was eventually thrown out of her new home along with her 1-year-old child, but her born bright, smart, not giving up spirit again became her comfort.
We went on and on and on and on and on, and one day he just picked up his bag and left. Alone, left me alone in the barracks. After a week or so, I was called I was asked where he was. I did not know where he was. They started saying that, well, as a military person being in the barracks, you can't just get up and leave. And when you are a woman married to a military man, you're also a military person. So you need to provide him. I went through questioning with my 1-year-old child. It was terrible. It got to... Sorry, can you cut this? Can I have tissue, please? I remember I was at home. There was no food at home. The only thing I have was a can of Cerelac for my son. And I was thinking where I was going to get the next food from, because the shop was not really doing well. I had come fresh out of school. I've not even started working. I'm having a baby. And I was picked up from the barracks to go for questioning at the marshal's office. And I was asked questions as to where he was. And to cut along, I left something in our honeymoon. We actually went for our honeymoon in Dubai. And even in Dubai, he cheated on me on our honeymoon. So they were of the view that as a military person, he's not supposed to travel like a civilian. So for him to be able to travel, that means if he has been able to leave the country again, I should know where he is. So they will keep tabs on me. Meanwhile, they gave me time to leave the barracks. I didn't know where I was going to go to. But the only thing that kept me going was that gift that my dad always tells me that I have. That born bright, smart, hardcore, persistent, not giving up spirit in me. Because we had to move back to my mom's house. My room in my mom's place had everything there. I still had my bed, I still have my sofa, I still have my TV. So the things in that room, in our room, in me and my ex-husband or whatever, our old husband's room, I didn't know where to take it to. So I made a friend help me. We took them out, went to the market and sold them so cheap. Got some few coins, and then I put my son in school. So I put my son in school. Then I came to tell my mom that I was giving out the shop for rent for some years, and then I was going to go to the UK, buy a ticket, go to the UK and see what life has for me.
Life picked up for her and things seemed to be going quite well again, or was it not?
I left the country, and then I left my son for my mom. So I left, went to work a little, got some money, came back, started again. And God being so good, when I got back, I got a job with Toshiba, the franchise holder in Ghana. So I started working with Toshiba. When he left, I think he was deported. When he left, I had already gone to my mom's place. So I was given a job because I hadn't done my national service. So I started my national service at GBC. And then he came back. When he came back, of course, he ran back to me that he went and he's back. And they are looking for him in the military. So he needed some place to hide. So I went and took a loan again because I was still the missus. Don't forget that. So I went and took a loan, and then we got an apartment. So I moved out of my mom's place, but I left my son with my mom and then went to live somewhere in Accra. And that time he said he had started his musical career. So he was going to studios and blah, 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 blah. I was still supporting him. Till one day, the inevitable happened. He left home. We had an argument. He left home and I was looking for him. So I went to where he went to, where I know he will be the next morning. I got there and he was with another woman there. I don't know what happened at that moment, because when I saw him, And I was like, look, who the hell is that? You know, I started ranting and raving. And then suddenly I just went off. And I woke up about 3 weeks later, and I didn't have memory of a lot of things. I woke up with amnesia. This amnesia lasted for 8 years, as a matter of fact. So I had amnesia, and then he continued with his life so easily.
Once again, life was so much better for her, but the forces of life came back knocking at her heart.
So I had to pick myself up, and that was why I got the job in Toshiba. I was doing very well, very, very well. My son was going to one of the #1 schools in Ghana. Life has become good again. I registered in a school in India to do cosmetic science. So I was going to school and I was working. I was traveling all around the world with my son. Life was good. Life was so much better. But trust you me, I made a mistake again. Because at that time, society, when I was going through all that trouble, society got missing. Family got missing. But when things started getting better, all of a sudden, the face of society and family came again, asking for a rematch in marriage because my son supposedly needs a father figure in his life. You're doing well. Your son needs a father figure. Your son is getting spoiled. Do this, do that. Get somebody. Get a father figure. Get a father figure. So I went to Europe for summer holidays with my son, and I met someone again. I met this person again, and suddenly when I met him to buy one ice cream for my son, hey boy, how are you? Immediately I saw him as a father figure. Oh my God, you know what? It's a blessing to be born in Africa, because if you can survive the system, you can survive anywhere. Because immediately I took pictures were on my Facebook. My mom saw it, my late mom saw it. My late mom was like, oh, he's so cute. Is he married? Is he a Christian? Oh, then he's the one. So he became the one again. I didn't take my time again to really get into things. See how his emotional abilities will even carry him far if my son should even push him to the wall. Suddenly, my intellectual brain started planning life. I have a good job. I'm being paying almost $4,000 every month. In fact, for about a year, I don't even touch my salary. I touch my salary when I'm going for holidays, because the allowances alone takes care of me in Ghana. So I'm doing very well.
Another messy surprise came and ruffled her whole life when the father of her second child did this to her.
Okay, darling. This house that you live in, is it on mortgage? Oh yes, so it's on mortgage, but you know, it's hard here now. Business is bad. All of a sudden, job was bad and all that. Oh, okay. Well, since we're together and all that, I can take care of half of the mortgage for you. I was living in Africa, but I was paying mortgage in Europe. Whereas I could have taken that money and even bought any house in mortgage in Europe. But at that moment, it's all about getting a husband and a family. The hunger for having somebody in my life corrupted my every being. He came. When he came to Ghana, the first thing he did was to sleep with my PA in my own house, in my guest room. I had already shown him to my family. Society had seen us. Look, I remember I told one woman next door, and it was like, that is how every man is. Keep quiet. If you keep quiet, nobody will hear. Just sack the girl and move on with your life with the man. I remember the second thing that he did, he just took my Visa card, went to the bank, took money because I take him to Osu, you know, went to the bank, took money, and went to a strip club. There was a club at Osu. Went to a strip club. I was looking for my Visa card because there was no money at home. I wanted to take the card to go and buy some stuff for my son that evening. Around 9 o'clock, I'm looking for my Visa card. I can't find it. I'm calling him. He's not picking. Hey, what is happening? I called him. He picked it up. He told me the club that he was. I've forgotten the name of it. It was a strip club. I got there and my money was being distributed to the strippers. So I just got there, took my card, and when I came, he had actually taken a chunk of my money. I bought tickets. He came, just came for a holiday, left to his hometown, came back. He wasn't actually a Ghanaian, so he had to leave Ghana and go to Nigeria to visit his people, come back to Ghana, and then go back. So when he went back, the pressure started mounting again. When are we getting married? When are we getting married? When are we getting married? And I went to look for a father figure for my second son as society wanted it to be. And I ended up being pregnant with my second child. Okay, so I'm pregnant with my second child. But I was strong this time. I said, no, I'm pregnant with my second child. I will not go ahead with this wedding, this second one. But I will focus on the child and try as much as I can to streamline my life this time. So immediately I retracted and came back to normalcy. And it was good. Because when he left and went, not knowing, when he got to Nigeria, he had enough money to go and promise marriage to a lady that he knew was there before he went to Europe, that he hasn't gotten money to come before. So the lady also started calling me and telling me that he happens to be the wife of the gentleman. So I said, oh, okay, no problem. Please, so if he's your guy, I beg, take it, because me myself, I don't want it again.
She got her head back in the game of life and speaks proudly about how well she's doing.
I remember I looked in the mirror one day and I told myself that, Queen, you were not born poor. You were born with everything. But along the way, you have made several mistakes that have gotten you here. I want you. I looked in the mirror and I told my image that I want you to promise me that from henceforth, you will make it work and restore yourself back to where you are supposed to be as a single parent. And I made that promise to myself. And I started all over again. And today, I can proudly tell you that I have my own business I'm running, a cosmetic company. I have other businesses that I run. I import cars and other stuff. My biggest son is now 18 years in a good school. My youngest son is now 11 in a very good school. And as a lifestyle coach, I take my time to impart knowledge to the minds of a lot of people. I have helped lots of people build their own companies. Because in between the time when I realized who I was and what I wanted to be, I needed a shortcut because I didn't want to start from zero. So instead of me staying in my kitchen trying to make hair food with my spoon and spatula, I needed some bulky money to start something somewhere. So when I see somebody who has the money, it's like, I want to do it, but I don't know how. Oh, I can do it for you. The person feeds on my intelligence, takes everything that I have at that moment to build him or herself up. I get nothing. And then when he or she is okay, he just throws me to the curb and I come back to square one.
Queen explains why her mother always encouraged her to get married.
You know, I don't know about if there is a modernized way of the old mothers doing things differently. But my mom was the kind of mother who had redemption through marriage. So to her, marriage was everything. So when I went and the first one did not work and I came back, it was all about pray. God will make another way. I don't know if there are other mothers who see differently, but that was how my mom sees things. Because she had her redemption through marriage. Seriously. She was in a village, a rich man came to the village, picked her up, married her, brought her to the city, and she became who she was. So to her, marriage was everything. My siblings, well, we are 8 in number actually, we're a lot. I'm the last girl because we're 2 girls and 6 boys. I have 5 boys following me. So I'm always like, they call me mama. I'm like the mother, you know, because of my stature and everything. And I do something they call penism. I always like to take care of people. I take care of people more than I'm being taken care of. And through that attitude, I learned a bad habit of bottling things inside. No matter what problem I'm having, I show my 32. Hi, how are you? Are you okay? Do you need something? I'll take care of you right now. So it only takes someone with a special grace to actually notice that there is something wrong with this lady. Let me help her. So my siblings, I end up being the bigger one, taking care of everything. So they're always like, oh, she got it. And that was the gift my dad always told me. I'm always in charge. The only person who can see through me is my first son. Because I've done it. Now when I'm doing this, Mama, hello. You are not okay. Go to bed. You are tired. Go and sleep. Let me do it for you. So, I mean, he is the gem that I have. Sometimes people think when you are a single mother and you are strong, society thinks you have hatred for men. Me, I don't hate men. I love men. And there's something I always say. I say it all the time. There are almost 4 billion men on this earth. I've only married 2. What about the 3999999? And I will do anything because I love the company of men. Come on, I wouldn't love women. I love sex. I love men. I love love. But I just have to be sure and keep myself in check on the choices I make when men are concerned.
Listen to her speak about the only things holding her down in this life now.
My 2 wonderful sons, because they keep me going. So I never have any regrets in having them. They are the blessing I have in my life. Without my sons, I think I will be dead. Because at a certain point in time, I feel like giving up. But I want to see them in a certain pedestal. I don't want my kids to ever stand somewhere and say that because my mom went through this, that is why my life is like this. No. So I try as much as I can to give them everything that I had when I was a child. So my kids needs to have the best. So they are my blessing. They keep me going all the time. They keep me on my toes. I for the past 10 years, I wake up at 4 a.m. and they are the reason why. They are a blessing to me. I mean, without them, I wouldn't know where I would be. They are the biggest blessing I have. In life, we have something we call standards. And that is one mistake that everybody makes, especially in this part of our world. We don't put pegs on standards. And that is one problem everybody is having now. Oh, I am too smart. Sometimes I should loosen up. They use that word. Sometimes I should loosen up and mingle with people. Oh, I am too serious. Sometimes I should learn how to mingle. Look, when you are smart, you are smart. There's nothing you can do about it. When you are a nerd, you are a nerd. A nerd, somebody who is intelligent. When you are intelligent, you are intelligent. There's nothing you can do about it. Keep to your standards and don't try to mingle with people because you feel you are the odd one out. build your own world around yourself. People are being disrespected in relationships because they did not allow the men or the women to go through the process in coming close to them. Everybody has a process to go through to get to somebody, and that process can only be made by you. Because if I don't create the process you have to go through to get to me, you will never know my value. Allow people to go through the process in order to get close to you. Because if you don't allow them, they will come and create problems in your life. You will always take one step forward, 3 steps backwards.
Truly, the story of life coach Queen Esther Jackson is inspiring. And that's what we aim to do here on The Untold. We are glad that you joined us for this week's episode, and we're hopeful that you join us once again. Remember to follow us on all social media sites. It's at The Ghana Web, and as part of our 22nd anniversary here at Ghana Web, we have nice packages up for you. Follow us also on www.ghanaweb.com for more news and information. Until another time, to stay safe.